Start your engines!
Good afternoon, race fans. Welcome to Bristol Motor Speedway, America's Last Great Colosseum. I'm Aaron Johnson with the Johnson iRacing Network, bringing you the Tyler Daniels Racing League of Legends feature from Bristol. This race scheduled for 75 laps with the cars and stars of TDR. Tyler Daniels Racing is an inclusive racing community that prides itself on welcoming all members regardless of background, history, or ability. TDR has a charitable focus. We've held charity races for the Iowa Food Bank, the Wyoming County Animal Shelter, and to assist individual members. Tyler Daniels Racing is a big family. Yeah, we squabble sometimes, but we care about each other, both in sim racing and in life. Tyler Daniels Racing prides itself on intense, clean iRacing leagues in action. No matter your skill level, Tyler Daniels Racing has something for you. Asphalt, dirt, road, oval, NASCAR, IndyCar, Legends car. If you can race it, Tyler Daniels Racing is probably racing it right now. If you'd like to learn more, go to Facebook and search out Tyler Daniels Racing or point your web browser to tylerdracing.com. Well, it's been an interesting 9 weeks so far in the Tyler Daniels Racing League of Legends. There are 2 races left in the TDR circuit. And after the 9th race at Bristol, Lee Walker holds a 13-point advantage over Aaron Johnson and Tyler Daniels, who are tied for second. David Trumbley sits in the 4th spot, 37 points back, with Mike Matherly rounding out the top 5, 49 points out. Behind Matherly, it's Fish Fisher, Andy Shaner, Eric Worden, Eric Steele, and Jim Downham. Steele has been on a roll the last 2 weeks, scoring the pole position and winning the feature in each Tyler Daniels Racing League of Legends event. Will this week make it 3 in a row? Can Eric Steele pull off the hat trick? We're about to find out. Let's have a look at today's starting lineup. Starting in the 18th spot in car number 97, racing out of the Mid-South in the Trackmasters Sellers Insulation Legends car, it's Eric Sellers. Starting in 17th in car number 71, that's the My Little Pony car of Keith Fonseca. Keith out of Virginia. The 28 car, Jim Downham, starts in the 16th spot. Downham in the Racers for Christ Legends car, racing out of Ocean City, New Jersey. Starting 15th in car number 18, it's the Captain Spaulding Legends car of Michael Margata, Michael from Florida. In car 41, starting 14th, that is Marty Brown, Marty in the Jack Miller's Back Row Sim Racing Legends car, racing out of Louisiana. Starting 13th in car number 05, racing out of Charlotte, North Carolina, that's Parnelli Belair. Parnelli a little late to the field, but I think he's going to start okay in terms of being able to make the field. Starting 12th in car number 72, that's the Buckeye Bandit, Jared McKinney, racing out of Ohio. Starting 11th in car number 16, it's the Admin Box Legends car of Fish Fisher. Fish races with us out of Long Island. Now your top 10 starters racing out of the Great Plains region. In car number 01, that is Christopher Rawlings, Christopher in the John Deere Chevrolet and the John Deere Ford. Starting 9th in car number 96, also in the Sellers Trackmaster Racing Legends car, that is David Trumbley, David out of Toledo, Ohio. Starting 8th in car number 19, racing out of the Western region, it's the Gravedigger Legends car of Dominic Moss. Starting 7th in car number 5, that's another John Deere car, this one Joseph Ralph, racing out of New York. Now, your top 6 starters. Starting in the 6th spot in car number 363, he races out of Dorset, England. That's your current points leader, Lee Walker. Lee in the Ginger Signs TGR Nation Legends car. Starting 5th in car number 35, that's Mike Matherly, the VRS Legends car, Mike out of Hampstead, North Carolina. Starting 4th in car number 57, racing the Suicide Prevention automobile, that is Jim Love out of Kannapolis, North Carolina. Starting 3rd in car number 25, it's the 600 Racing Legends car of Tyler Daniels, the man himself, racing out of Warsaw, New York. on the front row outside. In the Gremlin Technologies Legends car, racing out of Bailey, Colorado, that is Aaron Johnson. Johnson and Daniels currently tied for second in the points. And then on the pole in car number 32, it's his third straight pole-winning effort. That would be Eric Steele. Eric racing in the BCRC Hobbies Legends car. The pace car leading the field around this track at Bristol. Steele looking for his third consecutive week of scoring the pole and the feature win. Johnson to his outside, won earlier in the season at Lanier. Behind those two cars, it's the 25 of Tyler Daniels, currently sitting second in the points. Jim Love in the 57, an excellent qualifying effort for Love. We've missed him the last couple of weeks. Behind them, it's Matherly. The green flag is out, and Eric Steele hops out to a quick early lead. It's Steele 1, Johnson 2, Tyler Daniels tucked into the third spot. Down the back straightaway now, Eric Steele with the lead. Johnson in second, Daniels third, Love fourth. Mike Matherly rounding out the top five. Behind them, Lee Walker's in the sixth spot. Then a gaggle of cars jockeying for position from seventh through the about the 12th spot. Eric Steele pulls out to about a 3-car length lead. Steele with a very quick car here at Bristol early on. Johnson trying to close. Behind him, Tyler Daniels also racing well. Those two cars racing tight for points. And then behind them, it's the 57 of Jim Love. Eric Steele, a very quick race car. That BCRC Hobbies car has been the class of the field now 3 weeks in a row. Looks like Mike Matherly's trying to look to the inside of the 57 of Love. We are on lap 4 of a scheduled 75. And Mike Matherly trying to put a little pressure on the 57. Johnson and Steele beginning to pull away from the field. Johnson looks to the inside of Eric Steele. He may be trying to make a pass here. Aaron Johnson's got a fender underneath, and he looks like he's going to try to make a pass coming out of turn number 4 onto the front straightaway. Aaron Johnson's going to take the lead over Eric Steele. It is Johnson 1, Steele 2, Daniels 3. Mike Matherly has moved into the 4th spot with Jim Love in 5th. Lee Walker currently sits in the 6th position with Dominic Moss 7th, Joseph Ralph 8th, Trumbley 9th, and Parnelli Belair now has moved into the top 10. Behind them, it's Rawling, McKinney, Sellers moving up from the 18th spot to 13th. Very quick work by Eric Sellers. Then Fisher, Margata, Brown, Fonseca, and Jim Downham. Lee Walker looks to the inside of the 57 of Jim Love. Looks like he's going to make the pass. He's going to take the 19 with him. Dominic Moss also making his way by Love as Love's been shuffled up into the high lane. It looks like Joseph Ralph also going to come by, as is Eric Sellers. Sellers now looks like he will move into the top, maybe into the top 10. And Eric Sellers really quickly moving toward the front. Parnelli Belair also looking to the inside of the 57 of Jim Love as Love continues to be stuck on that outside line. The outside line, at least early in the run, the slower line here at Bristol. We are 9 laps into a 75-lap event. Jim Love trying to find his way back down to the inside line, currently having no luck as he's going to give up position to the 01 of Christopher Rawling as well. That's going to move Jim Love all the way back to the 11th spot. Love having real trouble here trying to get that 57 car down. Eric Sellers will go by. Behind Sellers, it looks like the Buckeye Bandit is also going to try to get past the 57 of Jim Love. Jim Love still stuck on that high groove. We're 11 laps into a 75-lap feature. Out front, it is still the 00 of Johnson leading, followed by the 32 of Sellers, then Daniels in the 25, Matherly in the 35, and Lee Walker in the 363. Those are the 5 cars that round out the top 5. Looks like Eric Steele has gotten a fender to the inside of Johnson. Steele going to go back by to take the lead. Aaron Johnson giving Steele plenty of room. Now turns back down underneath. It's Aaron Johnson and Eric Steele pacing the field. Tyler Daniels in 3rd, Mike Matherly 4th. Lee Walker running in the 5th spot. That is your points leader. Behind Walker, it's the 19 of Dominic Moss and the 5 of Joseph Ralph rounding out the top 7, with Trumbley 8th, Belair 9th, and Rawling rounding out the top 10. We are 13 laps into a 75-lap feature. It's clean and green at Bristol. Bristol, much like Daytona, only for Legends cars. The idea here is to mash the throttle down hard, point the car in the right direction, preserve as much momentum as you can, and keep that car on the straight and narrow. Tyler Daniels looking to the inside of Johnson. Johnson falling back just a bit from the 32 of Steele. Looks like the 35 of Matherly caught the outside wall. They were 3 wide back there for just a moment with Tremblay on the inside, Ralph in the middle. No harm, no foul. Everyone manages to get lined out. It looks like Parnelli Belair looking to the inside of Joseph Ralph as we watch the 32 of Eric Steele continue to lead. Little action, it sounds like. Heard some tires squealing and a little bit of contact between some race cars, but we see no caution. The race stays clean and green. Out front, it is Eric Steele, followed by the 00 of Johnson, then the 25 of Tyler Daniels. Those cars, your top 3, beginning to pull away from the rest of the field. Lee Walker also separating himself from the field. Those 4 cars beginning to open up just a bit of daylight between themselves and the rest of the field. Out front, it is still Eric Steele leading the race. Johnson closing now, maybe looks a little bit to the high side. Aaron Johnson looks like he's working the top side of the track and the low side of the track, trying to find a quick way around. But Eric Steele continues to lead. Johnson now looks to the inside, gets back in line. Tyler Daniels also looking to the inside. It's Steele, Johnson, Daniels, Walker. Then behind Walker, it's the 19 of Dominic Moss. Behind Moss, the 96 of Tremblay. Those cars, the top 6, Parnelli Belair 7th, Eric Sellers 8th, Rolling 9th. McKinney, the Buckeye Bandit now, has moved into the 10th spot. We are on lap number 19 of 75. Eric Steele leads. Johnson is second. Johnson looks like he's maybe feeling a little racy. Pulls up high, now comes down low, tries to use the banking to get a bit of a run. Johnson looks to the inside. There's not any room there, doesn't have enough race car. Eric Steele leads. It's Steele 1, Johnson 2, Daniels 3, Walker 4. Now it looks like Tremblay's gotten to the inside of Dominic Moss. Johnson a car length behind the 32 of Eric Steele. Johnson now with a run, closes in on the back bumper of Steele again. Doesn't have enough race car to get that done. It's Johnson in second, Steele leading. Tyler Daniels dropping back a bit, falling into the clutches of the 363 of Lee Walker. Johnson looks to the inside one more time. Looks like he's got a little bit of a run. Aaron Johnson thinks better of it, tucks back inside, and gets behind the 32 of Eric Steele. Steele leads this time by. We begin lap number 23 of 75. It is Steele 1, Johnson 2, Daniels 3. Walker has closed onto the back of Tyler Daniels. Daniels running a lower line. Eric Steele continues to hold on to the lead here as we complete lap number 24 of 75 at Bristol. Eric Steele holds lead. Johnson's just disappeared. Where did Aaron Johnson go? Johnson must be having some internet problems. Aaron Johnson is out of the picture. That leaves the lead to Eric Steele. Eric Steele all by himself now with about an 8-car length lead over the 25 of Daniels. Johnson has disappeared from the leaderboard. Aaron Johnson must have had an internet issue or disconnection issue. That'll take Johnson out of the running. Up front, Eric Steele continues to mow down the field. We are on lap 26 of 75, a third of the way through, and Eric Steele has the lead. Let's have a look at where the cars are running on the racetrack. Behind Steele, that is Tyler Daniels. He is currently shown in the second spot. Behind Daniels, that's the 363 of Lee Walker. Walker currently shown in third. Walker, your points leader. Daniels tied for second. This is a race that could have an impact on the TDR League of Legends points. Next on the Speedway, behind Lee Walker, that's the 96 of David Tremblay. Tremblay currently shown in the fourth spot. Then behind Tremblay, that's the 05 of Parnelli Belair. Belair has been on the march, moving up from the 13th spot to currently sit in the 5th position. To Belair's outside, that's the 19 of Dominic Moss. Dominic Moss now being shown in 5th, so Belair and Moss dueling it out for 5th and 6th. Just behind those two cars, it's the 97 of Eric Sellers. Sellers currently being shown in the 7th spot, has marched up from the 18th starting position on the grid. Behind Sellers, that's the 01 of Christopher Rolling. Rolling currently being shown in the 8th spot. Then behind Rolling, that's the 57 of Jim Love. Love got shuffled back to 11th earlier. He has begun to work his way back toward the front of the field, currently sitting in the 9th spot. Behind Love on the Speedway, that's the 72 of Jared McKinney, the Buckeye Bandit, currently shown in the 10th spot. Then behind McKinney on the Speedway, that's the 18 of Michael Margata, Michael being shown in the 11th spot. And behind Margata, that's the 16 of Fisher. Fisher currently being shown in the 12th position. Next on the Speedway behind Fisher, that's the 41 of Downtown Marty Brown. Marty Brown currently sits in the 13th spot. And then behind Brown, we see the 28th of Jim Downham. Downham a fair distance back from this group. Jim Downham having lost what little bit of draft there may be for the Legends car. Downham currently shown in the 14th spot. Behind Downham in 15th, that is Mike Matherly still on the lead lap. Matherly must have been that earlier incident where we heard some tires squealing and a little bit of crash noise. Then behind Matherly on the Speedway, that's the 18. The 18 looks like he's been involved in an accident. Behind the 18, we see the 5 of Joseph Ralph. Ralph must also have been involved in an accident. Ralph currently being shown in 15th spot. Behind Ralph, that's the 71, the My Little Pony car of Keith Fonseca. Keith being shown in 16th. Margota has since gone to the pits, and Aaron Johnson is being shown as out of the race. That takes us back around to the race leader, the 32 of Eric Steele. Steele pulling away from the 25 of Daniels and the 363 of Lee Walker. Eric Steele, no one in view as Eric Steele pulls away from the rest of the field. Cars fly by down the front straightaway. Eric Steele is leading. Tyler Daniels second. Looks like David Tremblay is trying to work his way inside the 363 of Lee Walker. Tremblay makes the pass, so David Tremblay's going to move into the third spot. That'll drop Lee Walker to fourth. Tyler Daniels will stay in the second position out front. It is still all Eric Steele. We'll go back out and ride along with Eric Steele. Steele well out in front now, more than half a straightaway ahead. Eric Steele pulling away from the rest of the field. A nice smooth race. The key at Bristol to preserve the momentum in that race car. Very easy to lose momentum in Bristol, much like Daytona, in that momentum is key. We are on lap 38 of 75, halfway through the event. Eric Steele with the lead. Steele closing in on the lapped car. That's the 5 of Joseph Ralph. Steele looks to the outside. Joseph Ralph stays down low. Ralph's car showing significant damage. Steele trying to go by on the outside. He's going to try to get around Ralph, and he's going to make the pass on the high side. Now closing in on the 71 of Keith Fonseca. Fonseca, the last car on the lead lap. Eric Steele pulling away from the rest of the field. It is Steele 1, Daniels 2, Tremblay 3, Walker 4, Parnelli Belair currently showing in 5th, with Sellers 6, Rawlings 7th, Love 8th, Moss 9th, and Fisher rounding out the top 10. Eric Steele, that BCRC Hobbies number 32, a very, very quick race car, closing in on the 71 of Keith Fonseca. Steele now down the back straightaway. There are 34 laps to go. We're past the halfway point. Pit strategy could begin to come into play here, as these cars cannot make the distance on the fuel they were allotted at the start. So pit strategy will matter. Tire strategy will matter as well. These cars are about a second a lap faster on new tires compared to old ones. So when you choose to pit, should the race stay green, short pitting would gain you about a second a lap on those that choose to stay out. Eric Steele having to weigh all of that strategy and more. Oh, it looks like there's a crash. Steele goes to the inside of the 71 of Fonseca. I think the caution is out on the Speedway. I couldn't tell who that was involved in the accident. Keith Fonseca will go back past Eric Steele, as Fonseca was ahead of Steele when the caution came out. That will keep Keith Fonseca on the lead lap, and it looks like Joseph Ralph is in the lucky dog position. Ralph's car damaged, but that could put Joseph Ralph back on the lead lap with an option to be a little racy here. Let's see if we can figure out what may have happened to bring out this caution. It looks like the 18 of Margota gets up into the wall now, up on its side, slides down the straightaway. Margota upside down for a long way. Lots of sparks. That must be quite the ride. Now the car rolls and then rolls down into the infield. So that was Mike Margota getting up into the outside wall. Typically at Tyler Daniels Racing, we don't throw a caution for a single car incident, but an incident like that where the straightaway is blocked by a car that's upside down, a car that can't get back moving under its own power. That's something we're going to take a look at, and we will throw a caution. We're going to ride along now with Eric Steele. Steele choosing to get into the pits and take on fuel and tires. Looks like Tyler Daniels is going to come with him, as will the 96 of Trumbley. Looks like maybe the 363 of Walker is going to come in. Let's see if we can find Lee Walker. Yep, Lee Walker's coming in. I see Parnelli Belair coming in. That's the 97 of Sellers that's going to be coming in. The 01 of Rawlings, the 57 of Jim Love. It looks like pretty much everyone. We're going to have wholesale pit stops here in the TDR League of Legends. The pole sitter, the 32 of Eric Steele, will be taking tires and fuel. That's going to put the 05 of Joseph Ralph technically in the lead. Ralph, the recipient of the lucky dog, but he will have to go to the end of the longest line as the lucky dog recipient. So Joseph Ralph also in the pits. You can tell by the way that car drives that it has some serious damage. Let's get back in here with Eric Steele. Steele out of the pits. Looks like maybe David Trumbley's going to come out just behind Eric Steele. It'll be Steele, Trumbley, Daniels, Walker, Rolling, Love. Looks like Parnelli Belair may be having some issues in the pits. Does Belair did he have some damage? That's going to drop Belair all the way to 12th. So an interesting issue with Parnelli Belair in the pits, wondering maybe if Belair had some damage that needed to be repaired. Joseph Ralph is still in the pits. He technically is the leader, although as we come by the start-finish line, it will be Eric Steele moving back into the lead. We have some in-car video from that accident. Let's go back and ride along with Mike Margada. You can see he gets up into the wall here. Now tags the wall, slides down the straightaway, upside down, a lot of sparks and some noise, and then back up into the corner before he rolls a couple of times and then comes to rest on the side, slides down toward that white line. Quite a ride for Mike Margada. Out front, it is Eric Steele. Steele trying to pull off the hat trick. 3 consecutive clean sweeps, winning the pole and the feature. It's going to be Steele on the inside. We're going to let the 72 of McKinney pass. So the 72 of Jared McKinney is going to go by. That's going to put McKinney in the 16th spot. Up front, it is the 32 of Steele on the inside, Tremblay on the outside, then Daniels and Walker making up row 2. Third row, the restart will be Sellers and Rawlings. Fourth row, Moslove. Fifth row, Fish and Belair. The pace car is in. The restart is on the leader, and Eric Steele gets off to a fantastic restart. Steele really getting the drop on the 96 of Trumbley and the rest of the field. Steele pulls out to a comfortable lead. It is Steele, Trumbley, Daniels, Walker. Those the top 4. Eric Sellers in 5th, Moss 6th, Rawlings 7th, Love 8th, Fisher 9th, and Belair rounding out the top 10. Eric Steele, the blue 32, the BCRC Hobbies car out front. David Trumbley trying to close. He has made a little ground up on the 32 of Steele. David Trumbley about 6 car lengths back. Lets that 96 car drift up toward the outside wall. Behind him, the teammate. That is the 97 of Eric Sellers. Sellers, the biggest mover of the day, starting 18th, has moved into the 3rd spot. Eric Sellers doing a fantastic job piloting that 97 car. Out front, it is still the 32 of Eric Sellers. Sellers, Trumbley. Steele, Trumbley, Sellers, 1, 2, 3. Then behind Sellers, it's Walker and Rawling. Those are your top 5. With Dominic Moss, Daniels, Love, Fisher, and Belair now rounding out the top 10. Tyler Daniels has dropped to the 7th spot after running in the 3rd spot early. Tyler Daniels losing ground on the leaders. Out front, it is still the 32 of Eric Sellers. Past the start-finish line, Eric Sellers leads. Trumbley trying to close in, making up some ground. Trumbley about 5 car lengths back of the 32 as they go down the back straightaway now into turn number 3. It is Eric Steele with the lead. Trumbley 2nd, Sellers 3rd. Looks like the 363 of Walker has moved back into the 4th spot with Rawling 5th. Moss 6th, Jim Love back up into 7th after having quite the roller coaster ride, running up front early, dropping back to 11th after getting shuffled out, and now back up into the 7th spot. Let's have a look at where these cars run on the racetrack. Out front, it's the 32 of Eric Steele. Steele being shown in the first spot. Just behind Steele is the 96, the Trackmaster car of David Trumbley. Trumbley currently sitting fourth in the points, running second now, using a higher line to try to catch up to Eric Steele. Behind Trumbley on the Speedway, that's the team car, the Trackmaster Sellers Insulations car of Eric Sellers. Sellers currently shown in the third spot. Then behind Sellers, it's the 363 of Lee Walker. Walker currently running fourth. Behind Walker, that is the John Deere Legends car, the 01 of Christopher Rawling. Rawling being shown in the fifth spot. Behind Rawling, it's the 19 of Dominic Moss in sixth. And the 57, the Suicide Prevention Legends car of Jim Love, currently shown in the seventh position. After Love on the Speedway, it's the 05 of Parnelli Belair. Belair currently running eighth. Joseph Ralph, recipient of the Lucky Dog and some repairs, running in the ninth spot. And behind Ralph, that's the 16 of Fisher. Fisher currently shown in 10th. On the Speedway, behind Fisher, that is the 71 of Keith Fonseca. Fonseca currently in the 11th spot. Behind Fonseca, it's 28 of Jim Downham. Downham currently being shown in 12th. Next in line, that's the 41 of Marty Brown. Brown currently in the 13th running spot. Then behind Brown, we see the 25 of Tyler Daniels. Daniels must have had some sort of an incident. He has dropped all the way to the 14th position after running up front early. Behind Daniels on the Speedway, that's the 72, the Buckeye Bandit of Jared McKinney. McKinney now being shown in the 15th spot. Next on the Speedway, that's the 18 of Michael Margata. Margata 12 laps down in 17th. Behind Margata on the Speedway, we are back around to the 32. That's your leader, Eric Steele. There are 13 laps to go. Steele leads. Trumbley has closed in to about 5 car lengths back. Behind Trumbley, we see the lapped car. That's the 35 of Mike Matherly. Behind Matherly on the Speedway, it's the 97 of Sellers, then the 363 of Walker, and the 01 of Christopher Rawling. Eric Steele running a near flawless race. He leads the field down the back straightaway. Steele, Trumbley, Sellers, Walker, Rawling, those your top 5. Lee Walker, your points leader, currently sits fourth. David Trumbley, fourth in the point, sitting in the second spot. Tied for second in points, Tyler Daniels is 14th. Aaron Johnson has dropped to 18th and is out of the race. And your fifth place car in the points is Mike Matherly. Matherly 16th, 1 lap down. Not a great points day for any of the points leaders. Lee Walker doing his best to protect the points, running in the fourth spot. Certainly in the best position to gain on the rest of the challengers and extend his points lead. David Trumbley notwithstanding, he'll gain a couple of points, but being over 30 points back, that's not going to be as big an issue for Lee Walker. Trumbley's closed now to within a car length and a half of the 32 of Eric Steele. There are 9 laps to go this time. David Trumbley trying to find his way around the 32 of Eric Steele. Trumbley closing again, now a car length back. David Trumbley with a very quick race car at the end of the race at Bristol. It is Steele 1, Trumbley 2. Trumbley all the way to Steele's back bumper now. We are on lap 8 to go, and David Trumbley trying to find his way around the 32 of Steele. Trumbley taking that high line, now turns down low, uses the banking to get a little bit of a run. Trumbley then goes back up high, trying to close in on the 32 of Steele. Steele protecting the bottom line. The bottom way seems to be the quick way. It's certainly difficult to pass anywhere but the inside. Steele protecting that inside line. He's going to make Trumbley earn it the hard way. Parnelli Belair moves into the field of view. He's had some sort of an incident. The right rear fender missing on that Legends car. He moves up high to let the leaders go by. Mike Matherly, the lapped car, racing with Belair. That race for position. Matherly going to make the pass. That'll gain 1 spot. Every position important in the TDR League of Legends points. TDR also runs the TDR IROC series. To qualify for that series, you have to gain points. You gain those points by winning, by finishing in the top 5 in leagues, by the number of races you enter, charitable donations and contributions. And Mike Matherly racing to stay in the top 5, a top 5 finish, worth some points toward the TDR IROC series. That position may be very important for Mike Matherly. So what seems like an incidental battle, Matherly versus Belair, may certainly work out to have some bearing later on in the year when the IROC series gets underway. Out front with 4 to go, now 3 to go. The 32 of Eric Steele beginning to pull away just a bit from the 96 of Trumbley. Steele's extended that lead to about 4 car lengths. It's Steele 1, Trumbley 2, Sellers 3, Walker 4, Christopher Rolling with a nice run, currently shown in the 5th spot. Dominic Moss in 6th. Jim Love has fought his way back to 7th. Joseph Ralph in 8th after receiving the lucky dog. Fish Fisher in 9th, and Keith Fonseca rounding out the top 10. 2 to go. Eric Steele with the lead. Trumbley trying to close. He's about 2.5 car lengths back. He maybe has closed just a little bit on the 32 of Steele. Steele's going to take the white flag this time by Eric Steele with the lead. Trumbley second, extending the lead now to about 4.5 car lengths. Eric Steele with a very quick race car at the end of the race. He's down the back straightaway, now headed into turn number 3. It's Steele 1, Trumbley 2, Sellers 3. Eric Steele comes out of turn number 4. He's going to come across the start-finish line and take the checkered flag. That's a win for Eric Steele. That's 3 in a row, 3 perfect weekends, winning the pole and the feature. David Trumbley's going to come home second with Eric Sellers third. Lee Walker, your points leader, finishing 4th. Christopher Rawling in 5th. Dominic Moss 6th. Jim Love 7th. Joseph Ralph 8th. Fish Fisher in 9th. And Keith Fonseca rounding out the top 10. Coming home 11th in car 28 is Jim Downham. Marty Brown will finish 12th. Jared McKinney 13th. Tyler Daniels will come home 14th. Mike Matherly 15th. Parnelli Belair 16th. Michael Margottas 17th after a spectacular accident, and Aaron Johnson will finish 18th after a power outage in Bailey, Colorado, put a premature end to his race. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was quite a race from Bristol Motor Speedway. After the end of the race here at Bristol, let's have a look at the point standings. So after Bristol, Lee Walker has extended his lead to 23 points over Tyler Daniels. Aaron Johnson has dropped into 3rd now, 4 points back of Daniels at 355. David Trumbley in 4th. He's only 9 points back of Johnson. Trumbley could conceivably pass Johnson for 3rd in the League of Legends points, with Mike Matherly then rounding out the top 5. Matherly 60 points back of Lee Walker. Behind the top 5, Fish Fisher sits in the 6th spot. He is 80 points out, with Eric Steele 7th. Steele making a meteoric rise on the strength of 4 victories this season. When Eric Steele is able to come into the racetrack, he runs up front. In the 8th spot, it's Jim Downham. Downham currently 130 points back of our leader Lee Walker, with Andy Shaner in 9th and Jim Love rounding out the top 10. Realistically, with 43 points available for a win, and next week, the last week of the League of Legends season, the only people who mathematically could make their way into a championship here are the top 4. That's Walker, Daniels, Johnson, and Trumbley. Although, to be quite honest, if 18 cars start, really all Lee Walker is going to have to do next week is start the race, and he will clinch the TDR League of Legends points. We can put this side by side with the points after Langley just to kind of see what's happened. Eric Steele's going to jump 2 spots from 9th to 7th. Andy Shaner is going to drop 2 spots down to 9th. Jim Love will jump into the top 10. Jim Downham jumps up to 8th after being in the 10th spot. Eric Warden will drop out of the top 10. Warden had been a regular each week, missed out this week, so we missed Eric Warden. The top 6 will remain unchanged, other than Daniels and Johnson are no longer tied. Johnson will drop to 3rd. Well, that was quite a race from Bristol Motor Speedway. The TDR League of Legends never disappoints. Outstanding racing action, very clean, 75 laps in the Legends cars with 1 caution and very few incidents. In the end, Eric Steele pulls off the 3rd straight clean sweep. That's the hat trick for the BCRC Hobbies driver. Next week, the League of Legends will have their season finale at North Wilkesboro Speedway. I invite all of you to join us there and enjoy some outstanding Legends car racing with the cars and stars of the TDR League of Legends. For the Johnson iRacing team and the Tyler Daniels Racing family, this is Aaron Johnson saying, go fast, turn left, have fun.